Okay. Um, I just want to say first of all, thank you, God. As a target individual, um, it's easy to be like, "Why me, God?" But the truth is, I'm just thankful to God that I could have been these bottom feeders. I could have been doing the things that these people do, which really takes away from their own dignity. The reality they have to create and what they do to us target individuals is just so foul. But it seems like it's really easy to do what they do. It doesn't take any bravery, any like. All it takes is just accepting to give away your time, and that's it. That's it. It doesn't take anything else. Just dedicate some time to it, and that's it. Children are even involved in that. So it should just be an indication of really what this is about. I'm a target individual, and I have to always remember this. I'm just a test subject for these governmental entities. They're utilizing this technology onto us to perfect them, to improve it. And this psyop and these ways of creating this false reality is what they try to do to make me forget this reality. They've created a distorted reality in order for me to believe in this false distorted reality and not see the reality of what this is about. And also for themselves to create this distorted reality to cope with the reality of what they're part of, because we're a target individual, and so we are used as these guinea pigs. And this extremely sophisticated technology is just can do so much to us, to our brain, to our bodies, to our way of thinking. The most tormenting part for me is the psychological torture, because they are trying to break me down and make me see in a different version of really who I am, and manipulate me in the most disgusting ways, 24/7, non-stop. Right? This is governmental-led program, and this government-led program is, we talk about the DoD, we talk about the CIA, those entities, specifically the DoD. We talk about those DARPA weaponry utilized onto us, this defense weaponry utilized onto us, not just to destroy us just for the sake of destroying us. It's for the sake of improving this technology. And to improve that, it means that we as guinea pigs are slowly destroyed, but is a purpose to it. The purpose is obviously to continuously improve this technology. These people are, the people I'm talking about are the contracted individuals, those perps. They are contracted to partake and to dedicate their time to take the steps in this handbook of how to break the target individual down. And things are very systematic. It seems like there's like a step-to-step outline of how we target individuals are supposed to be broken down. And it seems like the result is what they're trying to keep us database and continuously do that onto others. Now, the perps, their job is to make you believe that this is something else, that is our money and we're protecting the community and you pay for it. Like this BS storyline that it's just coming up with. That you like, I know what this is really about, but your job is to make me believe this other storyline, this falsify reality. You do the foulest things and try to make me accept these foul things as if it's something happening organically. You have a job to break me down, and this is because of this governmental program that is using human subjects, inclusive of children, to improve this technology. What they've done to people, not only men, not only women, but actually children, is well recorded. And they want you to forget this part and live into this distorted reality they put together. And it's really easy to do what they do. Oh my gosh. I mean, children are truly involved in this. So for me, they have created these ways of thinking. This technology, the synthetic telepathy, the V2K technology, have this ability to manipulate your thoughts and your logic and see things in ways that you will not see. And the most disturbing part is when they force you to have this reaction and sensation. Throughout today, a glimpse of a child, for me, they force me to get sexual stimulation. This is the pedophilia type of torture. That I'll keep bringing that up because it's not unique to me. They've done that to many others. So every time you look at a child, they make you have this nasty reaction. This is something they've done to many others. It's like a outline systematic tactic of them breaking a target individual. And they're trying to make you believe that it's you. And the way they try to make me believe, at least in my case, is that no, we are making you think the way you thought when you were in middle school, when you were a kid, preteen. That you now, as a 30-some-year-old man, is being forced to think, or we're making you think a way you were thinking when you were a kid in middle school, when you were a child. And this reaction that now, since August 19, 2019, I'm responding and how I'm reacting. It's just a reaction that you felt before, and we were making you think like a child. Now, as I'm speaking about this is the reality, right? They hate when you put things back in perspective. They want you to live in that false reality, in this distorted reality, which they call it their reality. And so to disturb me, to disorient me, via V2K, voice to skull, which is the way they can project their voices onto your brain, they are trying to disorient me. I can hear them say random things. Our child, because when they do the pedophilia type of torture, they're like, oh, our child, our children. Try to make it seem like they're doing it for their children, when the reality is these people it's been shown that they are a threat to children. The things they do to children is disgusting, but not only that, the way they have been manipulating men and women in these disgusting ways shows that they truly are a threat to children in the fashion of even the way they torture adults. They force men and women to get these nasty reactions toward children in different ways. And it's been proven that they do that to multiple people, not just me, not just this woman, but almost all target individuals, showing an exact pattern, a consistent pattern that they do these things, that they manipulate the libido. You are validated in ways that's so unbelievable. It is almost like surreal. As I'm saying this, because the validations are just super surreal, you hear people saying things randomly about how I'm going to be castrated. You understand? The reason why they say this thing is because you know that it's just too validated, that they do this pedophilia type of torture. And they want you to be disoriented. It's like, oh, we're going to castrate you. Then that's proof. I'm going to be castrated by people who are involved in a program that forces men and women to be stimulated toward children and do things to children, torture them. And then you get the other validations that the entities running this program, which we'll talk about the Department of Defense, we'll talk about the CIA, have had issues with pedophilia. So much so that there is a bill right now. The bill it was presented as S1413 and National Defense Network Abuse, where they're attempting to limit the amount of child porn that is circulating using the Department of Defense network, utilizing the Pentagon devices. So they have been shown to have a very disturbing pattern that is very threatening to children. Not only in this program, but the entities running this program. But the way they tell me they're going to frame me implanting child porn on my computer. Understanding that these people have had issue with pedophilia and child porn, and they're still trying to maintain this psyop that now these people are this fierce femme fatale and they are protecting their children, and so they're going to implant child porn in your computer, on your devices, for their children. Do you understand how disturbing these people are? I could have been doing this. What kind of dignity is this? It's not there. And they do this cowardly, disgusting things and this undignified. And try to make it fierce to talk about implanting child porn. That makes them radical. Right? That's the facade they try to present. We're so radical, we're going to implant child porn. Us working for governmental entities that have problems with child porn, where there is so much child porn even Child Protective Services have ranked them as 19th out of 2,900, calling them a top tier in regard of sharing child porn in volume, in masses, consistently ranking top tier. But these bottom feeders who sold their soul to these pedophiles are now trying to make a child porn a radical way of framing somebody. What kind of dignity is that? This is a low life that will die one way or another. Whatever sufferings I'm going to go through is not going to change what's going to happen to them. So the way they think it's going to help them to cope with this is they're going to create this theater of torture. They tell me I'm going to be tortured in this way. We're going to frame you with this child porn, or another pedophilia way where they're going to coerce a child to say that I did something to this child, and they're going to set things up and make it look like that. Which another indication that shows how much they care so much about children. In every ways, they've been shown that they are just the low life and bottom feeders that are even capable to torture children. This technology is consistent of direct energy weaponry. They are destroying my organs. They can do this like I know that my gastro organs are like being destroyed. I can feel it. I've been saying that I know that they're destroying my body slowly, and see the result and do. I think right now is even. I think I shouldn't even be alive right now. I think that they are prolonging these things. It's so easy to just but I'm just so thankful. I'm just so thankful that while I'm alive, I saw how bad life could have been. And I'm not saying the comfort. They are very comfortable. I'm sure they're living a life where they can do whatever they want. But at what price? At this price? No, thank you. And they were trying to be, no, it's fake because, it's like these people, the list of people they've destroyed, the women and the children they tortured in ways you can't even believe. To find out that these people are so threatening to even children, and the level that Child Protective Services is ranking them as top tier. And when I'm saying them, I'm saying the people that run this program. These bottom feeders are just perps. When I say bottom feeders, I'm talking about these perps that are perhaps not directly connected to the DoD, but are contracted by participating in this program. That is obviously led by these governmental entities, not these childlike individuals who are here to repetitively try to break you down. It's funny, they say, are you like a parrot because you keep repeating the same thing? Yes. I do this because I need to put myself back into reality. The truth is, these people are truly parrots. They have literally a script of things they say. You'll die, you see, 24/7, same thing over and over and over. You heard that from other target individuals where they say the same things over and over and over and over. To try to break you down into accepting. It's truly like old school, like brainwashing tactics, right? When you say something over and over and over and over and over and over, and the person just is supposed to accept this. They use even this old school brainwashing tactics are even utilized on top of this very, very sophisticated technology. And the disorientation and the confusion try to diverge. Every time I say something, they can say random thing that about nothing that to do with what you're saying, right? Like I would say, there is proof that they do this pedophilia type of torture where they force the target individual to have sexual arousals and aim those sexual arousals toward children. What they would say, you're gonna rot. Now, the reason why they're saying that is because they want me to stop thinking in this way, that there is plenty of validation that is what they do. On top of me knowing me, of course I know this is not natural, but on top of that, as you try to gaslight me, it's like, no, it's not true. I know that other people have said this non-true thing. Validating what I'm saying and validating what they're saying. Now, for me, I stayed here. I'm not somebody who's trying to move around and try to survive in this. My purpose here is for this participant, this losers, this trash, wanting to do this thing free, thinking that this is not going to come to them, like they're going to live this fantasy. Now with me, I've been humiliating them at a level that is unbelievable. Because with me, the people that present themselves try to show themselves as this like reasonable, sensible individual, and it's like no sensible individual, no reasonable individual would join this program, knowing not only what they do to men and women, but what they do to children. And these tactics have been so obviously done to others that it's obviously as something they're doing to me. I'd rather die in the streets than live my life in this indignified way. I'm sorry, I couldn't imagine myself just up, dress up, get ready for whatever the day, and my job is, oh, we're gonna do this and this and that. And the most disgusting thing is the way they are trying to restructure your brain. I couldn't imagine my life just like my job right now is to continuously and consistently restructure a man or woman's brain to think about kids in a sexual way. That's their job. That is what they live for right now. That's what their time is dedicated to. And so for me, I'm like, what if I was these people? What if I was contracted by this governmental entity, or somehow it seems like it's easy to do what they do, so I somehow get into a group of people where that is something they can do, and so I jump in, I'm in, and now I wake up, bring my little suits, move next door to somebody, and continuously train his brain or her brain into these nasty ways, make him have dream or her dreams of pedophilia centric, force him to have or her stimulations, and then to say, oh, that's you, and then dumb myself down 24/7. Then I go back to my regular. No. Oof. Now that kind of people, those people, man, I pray for them to continue to live this nasty life. Let them enjoy this comfort. Watch out what price it comes. For me, in whatever sufferance I'm going to go through, there's dignity in my sufferance. And what they try to hold on to make themselves believe that what they do is some kind of like avenging or avengement or whatever. These people involved in a program that torture children, that even like suffocating 7-year-old. You know what they do? They try to bring up whatever they can to hold on to it. They talk about me as a kid in middle school. I want to bring that up all the time because I don't want them to even escape. As I'm saying that, they're like saying all kinds of things they try to diverge from reality, because I'm not going to let them do that. I'm going to put things back in perspective, regardless of them and who I'm saying them, these perps, wanting to hear that or not. Reality is going to come up one way or another. I will never let them escape in that distorted reality they put together, because this is a child in middle school, in 8th grade. I did something stupid to myself at that age. One time, they have to exaggerate. I did something to myself. I just discovered myself in regard of, I don't want to go in details, in regard of like how to do things to yourself, right? Please yourself. And so I remember that was the summer of 2001. I was the age of this kid, like a little 8th grader, just turned 14 or about to turn 14. So 13, 14, 14, 13, around that age. And I just learned how to do things to myself, right? That's the age. If you're a boy or a male, you understand that around that age there's a lot of things happening to your body. I was a little bit more of a late bloomer, but I discovered myself that way. And so I did this dumb thing to myself, right? Which they try to exaggerate, where I did something to myself. They wish, they are even trying to exaggerate that, to make me think that I molested a child, I raped a child, and then they have different like level of like in between and things like that. They want to exaggerate, when the reality is me doing something to myself. Now, as a kid, you can do this thing, not understanding the concept, especially when you're like 13, 14, you're still having like really, you're on the verge of starting to have a rational mind. I think for me, I started getting that like more of my adult thoughts later on in my close to 15 and to 14 years old. That's when my mind of like from a little boy to like a more grown boy. So I can see things for what they are, and they can see it for what they are too. But they want to hold on to something because they don't live in reality. They've created a distorted reality to cope with what they do to people. That distorted reality is what they hold on to make themselves delude that they're some kind of avengers. In a program where they do so much horrible things to even babies. So for these people, they hold on to even illogicalness or even distorted reality for that purpose. Because they're in a world where they do so much foul things, they could kill themselves, even thinking about what they're truly part of. Right? So they try to minimize the reality and distort the reality they're in. And delude themselves and create personas and characters that are so falsified, making themselves feel like they're fierce individual cowards that involve in a program that torture even babies. Doing things remotely. You see them in person, you see how cowardly and foul and the distorted reality they've put together. Because the truth is there's incentives involved in this. So for me, saying this is going to be humiliating to them. These people want to maintain this fantasy. And me, I kept bringing up the reality of what they're part of. So I expect nothing but the worst. Because now the torture are going to be theatrical. Now it's like they have a point to prove, like, no, you see, you're going to be destroyed. You provoked us. I provoked them by putting things in their faces that they wanted to escape from. They try to dodge. They torture women. Try to dodge that. No, our women, we protect our women, we pay now. Fry them, suffocate them, torture them, and do horrible things to them. Kids sexually torturing babies. 3-year-old. 3-year-old sexually tortured. And wanting me to let them escape from that. As I'm saying that, they're making noise campaign. As if I'm like, oh my gosh, the more they slam in the door, the less I think they torture children. They are suffocating 7-year-old kids. And on top of that, the entities running this program are so pedophilia-centric. This bill is supposed to kind of limit the amount of child porn that they're sharing within this network. So I know how dangerous they are to children. I'm not talking about a middle school kid who done some dumb thing to himself where they even have to exaggerate, but what they actually do to children. And how they try to dumb themselves down and counter that and try to make me accept this nasty pedophilia manipulation they make me have, where they say, no, what we're doing is that we're making you think the way you thought when you were a kid. And think I'm going to let them escape that stupidity of a logic. While there's been validations that they do that to even others. So when they tell me they're going to frame me and they're going to even use their own children, that's even adding another level of validation. Yes, you're going to do what you do. You are a threat to children. Look at even your own children. You're willing to even compromise your own child and try to make it seem like this thing of framing is fierce? No. You have no self-respect of your own child too. You have no self-respect for you, and as a parent, to even let your child be part of that in this way. It's one thing when they bring their kids, they love to even use their children this way. It's foul. It's also show like that they're just opportunists. But what they like to do is like they bring their own babies and they show me their babies, little girls. Then they force me to get stimulations via this technology that can force you to get a nasty sensation and arousals and weird feelings that they then later say, no, we are mapping to you when you're a child. You understand how stupid the stupidity. But to even do that is one thing. Because at the end of the day, it's just showing your child, and then, which is already nasty enough. It's already really nasty. But then to add another level where now you're even coercing your child to say that this man did something to you and involving them in that nastiness, regardless of what happens to me, this child is doomed one way or another. They know that. There is no coming back from what this child is involved in that way. Because at this point, she sees herself and she has this mind of like, oh, we can frame like that. This is, oh. It's for sure. There is nobody who can be like, when I was 13, 14-year-old, my parents and I, we worked on framing somebody, and they're going to be like 30 happy and no. So do you understand that to even to their own children, they are a threat. But on top of that, talking about how they're gonna frame you using child porn. Child porn, where you know it's so disgusting. First of all, the entities running this program are so pedophilia centric, where child porn is a problem. And you know what it means, child porn. It means that they have content of children doing things that are abusive to them. And they're gonna implant this shit on my computer. Do you think these people care about children? Do you think so? You know what it means by child porn? So they're saying that they're gonna dare. They are so radical that they're gonna have content where children are being abused sexually, and they're gonna implant that onto my computer. But they're gonna be, this is radical to them. They're delusional. And you know how they try to counter that? It's like, no, but remember this video on World Star Hip Hop that you did not see, but you wanted to see because it was the clickbait thing. What? There's a whole project Flickr. There's a whole bill about, you're talking about something I've never even seen. But you guys who are in the world where child porn is such an issue, it's an ocean of child porn in your fucking world. And you want to implant your nastiness onto my computer to frame me? Disgusting trash. You know, I was listening to a story about this boxer, Mike Tyson. And his trainer said a story about him. When Mike Tyson was like 15 or 16, he threatened to do something to his daughter, to somebody. His daughter was some family member of his who's like 11. He grabbed her butt, and I think what he said is stupid. What he said, you know, I was mimicking what he did, and they're like, "Oh, you see, you grabbed stupidity." The way they manipulate your brain is just like it's just something else. But he grabbed his butt. Mike Tyson grabbed the butt of an 11-year-old when he was 16 years old, according to the story, and he threatened that girl like he's gonna rape her, right? That's Mike Tyson, 16 years old, grabbing a butt of an 11-year-old and threatening her that he's gonna rape her, and or something like that, that he was gonna do something to her. And the coach, who's related to that 11-year-old, he got scared. He pulled out a gun and shot, like right close to his head, to Mike Tyson's head, because he's like, "You're not gonna rape my 11-year-old whatever family member." And this is like a 15, 16-year-old Mike Tyson. He was still like very like he could beat up adults. And so they tried to compare. Okay, you see what he did. Now, remember what you did in middle school. Try to compare those two things. Are you serious? I'm an 8th grader, middle schooler, just a little jerk off, doing something to myself. And you talk about a 16-year-old Mike Tyson threatening to rape an 11-year-old kid, and try to compare this thing together. You know what was happening when I was 16 years old? Just to kind of give you a perspective of reality. At 16 years old, I actually, something changed, like something the opposite of what they want to be true was happening. When I was around 16 years old, I was living with older individual, and actually me as a 16-year-old and this woman who's like about 26, 27-year-old was kind of having like a little thing, right? Now looking back, of course, she's way too old for me, but I don't like. So that's what I was on at 16 years old. That's the kind of mental. I was obsessed with somebody who's like 10 years older than me. When I was a middle schooler, the dumbass kid who just discovered. I just did this thing because I just discovered myself. An impulsive thing of a child that did some dumb thing that I never even thought ever again. But 16 years old, your brain has already started shifting into adulthood. In middle school, when you're just 13, 14, just hit your puberty or even hit your teenage, you're still like a kid. You just like slowly developing in an adult mentality or close to it. 16 years old, you're already there. You're kind of not already there, but you just kind of close. You're still having more rationality. You're still a kid, of course, but you're a kid that is very close to adulthood, that's starting to understand adulthood and start rationalizing in a more logical way, in a more rational way. As I'm saying, logical way, they try to change into the things, the way they make me experience things today. But they know these things. The reason why I'm saying this out loud is for me to capture that and to understand. This is how stupid they're making themselves be. They want me to start having this logic, to exaggerate what I did as a kid, to see what I did as a kid as more of a problem instead of the reality of what it was. A child who did this impulsive thing that never happened ever again, because it shows how impulsive it is. A child that does that once, does this thing one time, and doesn't even do it again, shows that the kid just did something impulsive. And I'm not saying that this could have happened many times, but it didn't, because this is what a child did without thinking. A child around that age. You understand? There's a difference between a kid's brain at this age and a 16-year-old brain. So for me, it's like always put things in perspective. And these people, I'm talking to people who, grown men and women, who are talking to you in these ways, or you pay, you do this, are involved in a program where you hear the torture of children. What mentality do you have to try to make me, like, this is how undignified it is to be them. That's what I'm saying. They had to sacrifice their dignity, their self-respect. So they have all this comfort and this whatever incentives they have now. They are functional. They can eat. They can digest. They can walk properly. They have their feet. They have their hands. They have whatever they're saying that I'm going to lose. But they don't have the dignity. Because you're a grown man and woman. Some of them have children. Try to block out the fact that they literally torture children using this defense technology. But they want you to be like, oh, what you did when you're in middle school, what you did to yourself, while you're in a program that literally suffocates children. Torture them, hurt them in so many ways, mean ways. What kind of self-respect is that? This is why I'm making these videos. Talking individuals, find yourself dignified. You might lose everything else, but our dignity is fully there. I'd rather die in the street with no teeth than live in whatever comfort they have, but have done that. Some of them, it's not even about the financial aspect of it. They can do anything else. But that feeling of feeling godly, because all my whole life, everything around me is orchestrated. Everything is already, like, everything is, they know what's going to happen to me. They will manipulate me. They will. So that gives you that feeling of godly, like, feeling. When you can't even control your own life. When your own life is just like, whoa. But when they do these things to me, even the tonality, when they talk to me, you would think that they have their shit together. Huh? Don't know that these people are probably taking some, like, antidepressant. They're taking. But when they talk to you, it's like, oh, we'll do this, we'll see, let's see. Do whatever you need to do. Trust you guys have been a real threat to children. And you try to create storyline in somebody's brain to make him believe this falsified reality and distorted reality. And when you try to vilify me and talk about me in my childhood as young as middle schooler, and the stupidity of me doing something stupid to myself as a kid, and try to be like, oh, you pay for that, when I know what you do to children. What should happen to people involved in a program where they make kids scream in pain? If you think about what I did as a kid in middle school, what should happen to you involved in a program where you are involved in a program that make this baby scream in pain, suffocate them, making them gasp? What should happen to you? Nasty bottom feeders. For me, I see them for what they are, and then to be validated that these people working for entities that are truly a threat to children, where child porn, nastiness. Kids are like younger than, what was the age? Younger than 12. Doing things sexually, and sharing that within and sharing that within this network. You know how they try to counter? They try to counter by things I never even watched on world star hip hop, and try to make them say, you see, it's like, I didn't even see this thing, and then they try to change, manipulate it. The videos I watch on world star hip hop, that, at the time I was like, oh, that's funny, because of my, non-mature brain. But at the end of the day, what they're trying to do now is like making me have a memory where I'm getting sexually stimulated to this video, so they can make themselves believe like, oh, you see, we did it. It's a trash. Yes, you're manipulating memories to create this false reality that will not let you leave your fantasy. While this trash go into whatever places they get this child porn. I don't know where you get this thing. I don't know if the dark website, the dark web. Oh, matter of fact, never mind. The Project Flickr. This was an investigation of the Homeland Security and Customs, investigating this crime ring in Belarus and Ukraine, where this crime ring was doing, like, they had this website, this child porn website, where people would subscribe to it, but and pay a monthly fee, where they would get this content. And the emails they saw that consisted of a lot of DOD, Pentagon employees. They didn't go on Warsaw Hip Hop. These people are delusional. But that's the price of what they get. You're gonna have to take away your dignity. You're gonna have to sell your dignity to compare Warsaw Hip Hop to whatever dark web or whatever website where they. It's just show how stupid they have to make themselves be. This is how their dignity has gone down to. These bottom feeders are so pathetic to that level. And they think my torture is going to change that. These people are such a threat to children that they don't even recognize what it means. That today, there's a grown man and woman who's trying to make me believe that Warsaw Hip Hop is comparable to this dark web website where people get child porn. This is how retarded they have gone. Delusional. And now going to my memory and add the stimulation and sensations just to create their fantasies. It's so pathetic. They're making me think of this Warsaw Hip Hop video I watched. And there was this like little boy, and he was like humping his like older sisters. Like the older sister looked like young adults, right? And they were just laughing because they were shaking their butt, and he was like humping. You know how like a kid, and I'm laughing. I was like, look at this kid. I remember me being a kid wanting to hump everything. So I'm seeing that in that way. Now in my memories, what they're doing, they have created stimulations. Because you see this kid doing this sexual thing, but he's doing it, and the girls are laughing, like, yeah, and they're like shaking, and he's doing to the next, and he's like just like taking it so serious, and they're all laughing. And I'm like, look at this kid, and I'm laughing too because I remember, like, I remember when I was a kid, this thing, we used to have this like thing where we wanted to hump everything. So I'm laughing in that way, but they're like, oh, you see why you laugh at this? This is child abuse. Like, listen, I didn't look at that as something that made me feel sexual or anything like that. To me, I was like, I remember me being a kid and having those like extreme stimulation where I was humping even the pillow. But you who are here literally downloading child porn by the thousands, and you see kids doing things sexually and things like that. It's like, you see, that's the same. These people they live in this deluded reality. But that's the price. They sold their soul to these pedophiles, and now they're here trying to counter this. They lost their dignity. There is no more dignity for them. That now this is what they have to live off, to counter the fact that there's an issue with child pornography. And not talking about this world star hip hop. If you don't know what world star hip hop, please look it up. It's so sad. So to all my target individual, stay strong and understand that yes, we are losing everything, but we have our dignity. What these people have everything, but they lost their dignity. I'd rather be this person. I'd rather be me, losing everything, but have some kind of dignity, than living life, able to do everything you want. And this is what you're doing. I'm thankful to God I didn't have to live their life.